Have you ever wondered why being a deeply feeling person can feel so dangerous? Today, we're getting into a really confusing, really personal dynamic. Why the most sensitive souls out there often find themselves being punished by the very people who claim to love them. We're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden world where love and sabotage get tangled up together.
Just think about this for a second. Being an empath isn't just a personality quirk, it's a whole state of being. It's like the normal walls that separate you from another person's feelings just dissolve. You feel what they feel. And that incredible gift, that beautiful light, is exactly what can put a target on your back.
So, first up, let's talk about the empath's paradox. We really need to get our heads around what it means to be an empath to understand the crazy conflict they're always facing.
So, what is an empath, really, at their core? It's often this deep psychic wound that over time miraculously gets turned into a gift. I mean, think about it. A kid who has to learn to tune into every tiny little mood shift in the house just to feel safe, that kid develops an almost supernatural ability for compassion. It starts as a way to survive, and it ends up becoming who they are.
And this right here, this is the big, painful question. It's the one you've probably asked yourself a million times. Why does this amazing gift, this ability to feel so deeply and connect so profoundly, seem to attract exactly the opposite? Why does it get you criticism, coldness, even punishment from the people who are supposed to cherish you most? It's a heartbreaking and totally maddening cycle.
Well, it turns out the answer has nothing to do with you being too much or too sensitive. It's actually about a really powerful, really hidden emotion festering inside the other person. Which brings us to our next section, envy disguised as love.
Okay, this is the absolute key to understanding the whole thing. Your very existence, your natural way of being, acts like a giant mirror. Your authenticity, your warmth, your inner light. It shines on them and, without you even trying, it shows them everything they've refused to work on in themselves. It reflects their own spiritual emptiness. And instead of getting inspired, they get angry. They resent the mirror.
Now, we have got to be crystal clear about the difference between jealousy and envy because they are not the same thing. Jealousy says, I want what you have. It's about wanting to possess something. But envy is so much darker. Envy says, I want you to not have it. It doesn't want to possess your light. It literally wants to put it out. It hates the very fact that you shine.
So, how does this envy, this shadow actually, show up in your day-to-day life? It's almost never a full frontal attack. Oh no, it's way more subtle than that. It's like a slow, quiet sabotage that just chips away at your soul over time. Let's break down exactly what that looks like. Does any of this hit a little too close to home? These are the tiny daggers of envy. They call you too sensitive, which is really just code for your feelings make me uncomfortable because they show me what I can't feel. They'll laugh when you're being sincere. They'll withhold that little bit of praise right when you need it most. They're constantly making you the problem, projecting all their own stuff right onto you. You know, this whole dynamic creates what a lot of people call the psychic vampire. And look, it's not some monster from a movie. It's a really powerful way to describe this kind of person who feeds on others. Since they don't have their own inner light, they have to get close to yours and just consume it. They feed on your energy, your patience, your compassion, and they leave you feeling completely and utterly drained. And this is perfectly captured in the old myth of Narcissus and Echo. The envious partner, they're Narcissus, completely obsessed with their own shallow reflection, totally incapable of real love. And the empath, you become Echo. You spend all your time and energy reflecting their needs, their moods, their ego, until you slowly just fade away because absolutely nothing is coming back to you. And that right there is the heart of the confusion. They're saying the words, I love you, but their actions are constantly chipping away at you. It's love that promises to build you up, but is actually designed to tear you down. It's like being handed a beautiful box of chocolates, only to find out they're all laced with poison. Okay, we have really waded through the pain of this dynamic. But the point is not to stay stuck in the wound, right? The point is to turn it into wisdom. And that's exactly what our next section is about, making that journey from wound to wisdom. So this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you actually stop the cycle? How do you get off this horrible merry-go-round of giving your heart, giving your healing energy, only to get slapped for it over and over again?
The way out begins with these three huge internal shifts. First up is recognition. You have to call it what it is. This isn't just a difficult relationship, it's envy. Second, discernment. You have to realize that their darkness is not your job to fix. You cannot love someone out of their own envy. And finally, refusal. You have to consciously, deliberately take back your permission for them to use you as an emotional gas station.
And all of this leads to one thing: boundaries. But listen, for an empath, we have to totally reframe what boundaries are. They are not cruel walls you put up to shut people out. Think of them as sacred thresholds for your soul. Setting a boundary is an act of truth. It's how you protect your gift so you can share it wisely, instead of having it stolen from you. The ultimate goal in all of this is what the great psychologist Carl Jung called individuation. It's just a fancy word for becoming whole. It means you go back, you reclaim that original wound, and you transform your empathy from this unconscious thing that runs your life into a conscious power that you choose how and when to use. And you know, when you do this work, something incredible starts to happen. You don't get hard. You don't get cynical. You become sovereign. So let's take a look at what this amazing, transformed state actually looks like.
This is who you're becoming, the sovereign empath. You still feel everything, but you're not a doormat. You're not knocked over by it. You love with your whole heart, but you have zero time for fake relationships. Your empathy is now a choice, a gift you give intentionally. And the best part? You finally start attracting the kind of love that celebrates your light instead of trying to put it out.
And this is the ultimate promise, isn't it? Walking away from these draining, soul-sucking dynamics isn't about giving up or being lonely. It's actually an act of creation. You are clearing out the dead weeds so that something real and beautiful can finally have the space to grow.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought to really chew on. What if you reframed this entire painful experience? What if their envy was never ever proof that you were too much or too weak? What if, all along, it was just a signal, a bright, flashing neon sign reminding you of the undeniable power and brilliance of your own light?